Hi, I'm Doyle, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a question that actually is part of my values and my life principles that I've just recently shared. And the question is, what does it mean to do the right thing? And that sounds real simple, but I think what we'll find out is the answer to that question is pretty complex. It's simple in one respect, but it's very, very difficult and very, very complex and complicated in another. Most people think doing the right thing is, well, doing just the opposite of what's wrong. And in some respect, in a binary world, that would be true, but we don't live there. We live in a complicated world with complicated circumstances, complicated situations that we find ourselves in. One reason, one way that people will respond or answer that question or deal with that question is they'll do what they're told. They won't think. They will abdicate on figuring out what the right thing is, and they'll just do what's in front of them, do what they're told, do what they're shown, and take that at face value. But then we need to ask ourselves another question related to that: is it legal? And if it is legal, does that by itself or in and of itself make it the right thing to do? And in some cases it may be, in some cases it may not be. It may not be that simple. Our laws on the statutes in our local government and our state government and the national government, they have objectives, but they're not always necessarily to figure out and to determine or to discern what is the right thing. It's to create compliance with certain kinds of behavior and give the authorities the ability to do something about it when that compliance doesn't exist. So you can ask yourself then, well, does doing the right thing mean, is it ethical or moral? What does that mean? Is what's right for one person, is that what's right for another? In all cases, maybe, maybe not. I don't think that gets us where we necessarily need to be, at least from my perspective. It doesn't either. So you think in terms of what's the next layer, the next aspect of that question that is relevant, is germane. Does it help someone? Is it something that's beneficial or help, or does it hurt someone? As a way to determine, is whatever is in front of you to choose doing the right thing, to help you understand what that is. But is that enough? Is that enough? Just because it's something that helps someone, is that enough to say, yes, that's the right thing to do in all situations or in this specific situation? Another perspective, another dynamic, or another dimension to look at, is it something that's selfish? Do I personally get something out of it? Or is there some mutual benefit between someone else and me or you, whoever's making that decision or trying to figure that out? Is that enough? And as you see, as we go through these different aspects, it begins to show that doing the right thing is not always real simple, real clear. You have to inspect, and you have to do a lot of introspection of the circumstances of the situation to determine what's right. Because just because something's illegal doesn't necessarily mean it's not right. We're not talking about the consequences. We're talking about, or the legal consequences per se. We're talking about the outcomes. There are certain things that, while may go against the law, may go against morals, may go against ethics, may go against what you think is, beneficial or hurtful or helpful to one person and not another. You cannot necessarily take into account all the ramifications necessarily. But when you look at that, you try to ask yourself, what is it, what metric, what measurement am I using to do this? And there's a couple of ways, a couple of things that I would like to offer up as means to figure this out, and I'll get to the conclusion here in just a moment. One, you look at it from the perspective of, if you were to be able to make the decision, decide this is right or this is not right, and do or not do whatever the situation presented to you required, and you were able to look from the future and look back and say, yes, I believe that that was the appropriate thing to do, knowing what you don't know now, but what you know in the future. Would that have been the right thing to do based on what you knew at that particular point in time? Were the outcomes the type of thing that made you feel good? Or would you be embarrassed by it? Would you think, well, it's the right thing, and then in retrospect you look back and think, well, that was really a silly choice? I know in my life there have been a lot of decisions that I made that I didn't necessarily measure with the yardstick of, is it the right thing to do when I was much younger? And then I look back and go, wow, I wish I had done something different. Wish I had made that choice, whatever it is. And we probably all have similar things like that, small and not so small in our lives, where we look back. And maybe that's a metric, trying to project yourself to the forefront. Another one would be not considering the outcomes or the results or the consequences, but looking at it from the standpoint of, would your conscience be clear? Is it the right thing to do given the circumstances, given your understanding of the situation, of the need of the moment? Is it the right thing to do? And would you be able to hold your head up and say, I did the right thing now, next week, and then on into the far future? And those all help get there. But the one thing that I think, to me, drives the whole answer to this question of what does doing the right thing mean is this. Does it align with your values and your life principles? And you go, well, I'm not so sure. Well, then I would encourage you to take the time to stop and think. What are your values? What are your core values? What are the things that are what your life, your belief system, your structure of thinking are built on? And if you recall in a previous video I had, my 4 life principles are faith, family, honesty, and integrity. And then I talked about my life principles that are built on top of those 4 pillars of foundation on my values, and the life principles that I try and aspire to live and strive to live my life by. And one of those is do the right thing. But the first one of my life principles is honor God. So does the right thing, does it honor God? Is it align with my life principles? Does it allow me, or am I living by the truth? Do I work hard and have fun? And now, sometimes doing the right thing is not necessarily fun, but if it's not in conflict with that, does it allow me to see the joy in life? And joy doesn't necessarily mean smile. Sometimes it means the peace of heart and peace of mind. Does it demonstrate the love for other people? And does it demonstrate a grateful and a thankful heart? So I would encourage you to consider that. If you have a different perspective, a different point of view, I would encourage you to leave a comment on the video here. Let me know what you think. If you have a question, if you disagree with something that I said, please take a moment and let me know about that. I would love, as I've said many times, to establish a dialogue and a discussion. I'm a firm believer that as we share with one another, we grow, we learn, and we help each other become better, stronger, more resolved, and close any gaps that may exist between one or more of us. If you want to watch more of my upcoming videos, please hit the subscribe button and click the bell, and you'll get notified when my next one comes out. My goal is to have a video at least once a week, if not sooner than that. I'm working to have the videos a little bit shorter than they have been up to this point, trying to lay the foundation, and now just to give snippets and short bursts and short videos describing different aspects of my values and my principles and my leadership beliefs and leadership practices, my experiences, my failures, as I mentioned in previous videos and also on my blog, on my website. In any event, look forward to talking to you again in the future. As I said, leave any comments and questions you might have, and I'll respond as soon as I get the opportunity. Until next time, God bless. Have a great day. Bye.